Hey y'all. I'm all on mute. I'm all on mute. All right. I think you can hear me now. We're discussing Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. And I want to say that this is week one. We are discussing the introduction, where she talks about how she came into this, and then chapters 1 and 2. And let me get the correct titles. I want to make sure I'm doing this. So of course, the introduction is her story, and then the let them theory. What we are discussing this week is the let them theory. What is it? How do you apply it? How do you do it appropriately, right? And so chapter 1 is stop wasting your life on things you can't control. And chapter 2, get started. Let them, let me. And so I hope you're marking up your book. I got my tabs, I got my highlight, I am writing in there, I got my pencil, and I am marking up spots that are resonating with me. And so I hope you are doing the same. And so, chapter 1, stop wasting your life on things you can't control. This chapter talks about that most of our stress and discontent comes from trying to control people and situations we really don't have any influence over. So, the book argues that our unhappiness, your unhappiness, my unhappiness, isn't us. It isn't you. Your unhappiness isn't you. It's the power you give to others. And I think I mentioned that in a video posted recently, and mentioned that in there. And so chapter 1 is in there, and she talks about, micromanaging her children and the prom, how this theory came out of her experiencing with her son in prom, and how her daughter was the one who just used the simple phrase, let them, and how that really marked a turning point for her. It was like this epiphany that allowed her to just surrender control during that prom moment. And it inspired the book that created the framework. And so, um, if you haven't started reading, start reading. It's there. So let me just say, I'm just going to share my takeaways and for chapters 1 and 2. And then I'm going to also give um, some prompts in the group so that way you can respond to them that way. I was hoping I'd have a few people show up today for today's discussion, but I'll also be posting questions in the group. So if you can't show up to a live discussion, you can definitely still discuss with us in the chat within the community. So for those of you who are um, joining that way, just please, under the video or under the question that's there, post your comments and we'll engage that way. So don't start a new thread, just comment under whatever you're referencing or whatever inspired that thought, and that will help. So that was chapter 1. And so my takeaways for chapter 1 was stop trying to shape people's choices and opinions. People will have them, they're going to do them, so let them. Accept others as they are. Some people don't think the way you do, they don't navigate life the way you do, they don't do some of those things. Let them. So just let them. Um, Refocus what you can control, your time, your energy, your response on things you can control. And that's what comes out in chapter 2. We talk about what does that look like to refocus what you can control. And so sometimes you just got to let them. You got to just take your hands off. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people lately, which is why I chose to go ahead and do this book. I wasn't going to do it just yet. I had another book in mind, which we'll get to in September or sometime this year. I will say September, but y'all know I kind of go with the vibe of the atmosphere and what's happening in the world. But let them was what resonated, and telling people to just let them be. They'll figure it out. I may not use these two words, let them, but that has been the conversation. It's like they're adults, they can figure it out. And if they don't figure it out, it's okay. right? That's a lesson learned. We all learn our lessons and choose to learn our lessons in different ways. And for them, maybe that's it. So let them. And then chapter 2 is getting started. So chapter 2 is where we really get started. And so once you get to chapter 2, if you're not there yet, I want you to get started. I want you to get started and start practicing let them. And just let's do an experiment. Let's just see how well or not you feel, right? How it adjusts the way you are moving, feeling the stress, maybe even where where it's manifesting in your body when you're trying to control things. If it's in your shoulders, does your shoulders come down and relax? Most of the time when it comes to control, when it comes to things that makes you upset, you feel it in your chest. Maybe it's how your chest is rising and falling. Maybe it's how tense it feels. Maybe you open up your chest rather than in. And so whatever that is for you, try it and see how it resonates in your body, in your mind, and in your spirit, deep down in your soul. So chapter 2 is let them plus let me. So let them theory is really a two-part system. It's a two-part process. You got to let them stop wasting your time, right? And energy on others' actions. Stop wasting that energy on other actions. So to let them is just to let them. And I like that in this chapter, she talks about how let them doesn't mean letting go. That's two different things. And so I like that she makes the distinction between let go and let them. And I'm gonna give you a page number, and I hope your pages are the same as mine, because I'm not sure. That's on page 40. She says, I've had a lot of people ask if let them is the same as letting go. It is not. Letting go feels like you've lost. You're surrendering to something beyond your control. Let them is the opposite. It's strength. When you say let them, you're not giving up or walking away. You're releasing that grip you have on how things should go and allowing them to unfold the way they will go. You're freeing yourself. You're making an active, empowered choice to release control you never really truly had. You stop giving power to other people and forces outside of you, and you reclaim it for yourself. When you say, let me, you unleash your strength by focusing on your response. So, one, stop wasting energy on others' actions. Step 2 of the process is let me. Take responsibility for your own responses and choices. And of course, that will determine your actions. That will determine how you respond in the way of action and what you do. So let them, releasing. Let me, empowering. It's embracing. And so that's kind of how I see it. That's the way I see it. And so I love her seesaw. She gives a seesaw metaphor or analogy in chapter 2 about the seesaw, what let them looks like, and I have them flagged here because I didn't want to miss, like, without, if you don't do let them at all, if you just do let them, but when you actually do let me, when you actually combine that with let me, what that looks like. And I love the seesaw metaphor. I love the visuals. So check that out in chapter 2. Without let them, you feel powerless and insecure. With only let me, you risk becoming detached and isolated, and you feel lonely and you feel like, oh, woe is me. But when you combine them, y'all, that is when you are actually establishing balance. That's when you retain your boundaries and you're actually nurturing and cultivating authentic relationships. And so that's the real cool thing about this. So, she even shares some real life scenarios about her friends, going the trip with her friends and being left out, and how she responded to and let me accepting their choice, and then me let them accepting their choice, and then let me. What she figured out she needed to do as a response, and that was build stronger relationships deliberately, like with intention. And so I think that was it. So some of the things I noticed in this chapter that I think are true action steps for us is notice when you're trying to control of others. Internally say, let them. You may even have to say it out loud if you're at home alone and they're not around, but let them. And then use let me to help you pivot so you can really focus on your own intentional actions, your responses, the choices you're going to make as a result. Okay. And then I think the fourth thing is, challenge, what? I can't even say it. Channel, got a couple of words coming together. Channel the energy that, you're creating real change, right? The real change that you're creating in your life to channel that. And so, what that energy you're spending over here, move it into creating real change in your life. Focus on you. Give that energy to you. I have a dialogue box up here and I'm trying to get rid of it. And it won't let me get rid of it. All right. All right. So I'll move it over here till it lets me get rid of it. I'll move it out of the way. All right. So chapter 1 and chapter 2, if you haven't read it, start reading. That is when you really get into the theory. So if you want to know what everyone's talking about and what the subtitle says, 1 million people are finding it, millions are finding it useful, read chapters 1 and 2. I think that will give you a good insight into that because it talks about the two-part system, this two-part process of design, releasing your grasp on others. Apparently, I can't talk this morning. And reclaiming your energy, your agency, and really from let them plus let me. So, when we're talking about boundaries, boundaries is going to be a big part of this book, this talk, I think, and as we talk and discuss. And so I hope you will join me at some of the discussions throughout the next 5 weeks. This is week 1, so we're doing 6 weeks or 6 discussions, which is 6 weeks, and you'll see the reading plan within the community. This is week 1, and this is the introduction to chapter 2. We're going to move on Thursday. We'll be talking about chapters 3, I think 3 through 6. I'll have to look and see, but you'll see it posted in the group. You'll see it on the thing. Let me see if I have it marked in my book. No, I don't. But yeah, but I think it's 3 through 6 we're going to be doing for the next discussion. So if you haven't started reading, start reading. And wherever you are, y'all, know that you can still join us. If you're not going to read, you can't get the book, you're not going to get the book, but you want to know what it's about, you can still join us. Just know it's going to be spoilers. So if you decide to read it, we're going to be talking about it, or I'm going to be sharing like I am today. But I do want you to know that you can still read with us. You can still discuss with us. You can still show up to the discussions. Please, y'all, hear my heart. You don't have to be where we are or up until what we were discussing to join us. You can join us even if you're not reading at all. It's not about reading completely and being perfect reader. That's not what this club is about. Is using reading to inspire and encourage us to live a better life, to let them and let me in this case. So just know that you're always welcomed, and I invite you because we all have life experiences. We all have things that we can add value to the discussions with by just living. And so I encourage you to come and add value, whether it's your thoughts from reading, the parts that you did read that resonated with you, a podcast you saw of her or you heard of her speaking. I know she's speaking at one of the conferences that's coming up, a part of the organizations I'm a part of. She's speaking there. Maybe it is from what you read and you highlight some things, or it's your own life experience. Come, join us. Don't leave me here by myself the next 6 weeks. Um, Not the purpose of this particular reading group. That's why we read nonfiction. It's so we can grow together. So I invite you to join us. So here's a question. So I'm going to leave this question. There'll be more that I will add throughout this week. I will be posting questions probably almost daily. Maybe not quite daily, but I'll be sprinkling throughout the week. And this is the first question I want you to think of. Um, and please feel free to respond below where this video is posted. Where in your life are you spending emotional energy trying to control how others act, respond, or feel? Where in your life are you spending emotional energy trying to control how others act, respond, or feel? What would it look like to let them in that situation? How might that situation shift your mindset or free up your energy for something else? Or just relax your shoulders. So I encourage you to engage with me below this video and share. Thank you all. Week 1, chapters 1 and 2. Stop trying to, oh, let me get the titles right? Stop wasting your life on things you can't control. And chapter 2, get started. Let them plus let me, the two-part system. So read with us, discuss with us. We'll be here. You can always read and then come back to this post and discuss. You can, even with the next few chapters, the same thing. We'll be here. It'll be here. I'm not deleting anything out of the group. So you can always come back and discuss and share. Even if it's months down the road, you get to the book and share your thoughts. Let's connect. Let's interact with each other, interact with me. I really want this to be a community of interaction, but I need you to come in here regularly, respond, and engage with those who are in here, even if it's just me. Engage. Let's start creating some conversations around the let them theory, and then the other things that you'll see posted in the larger community. I'll see y'all soon. Thank y'all for being a part of this particular book. And I'll be announcing the next book soon, so you can order that and prep for, I guess, mid-September when we'll get to that one, actually discussing that one. So just so you know, stay tuned. Talk to y'all soon. Bye for now.